I think somebody looking for a pair of shoes is in need of some dignity and a pair of shoes. Hey guys, welcome back. Or if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to my channel, Mick Flippins. My name is Mickey. I'm an eBay reseller as well as an antique dealer of sorts. I set up at antique shows, flea markets, and buy a lot of antiques and vintage stuff and sell it any way I can, whether it be Facebook Marketplace, flea markets, what have you. But I had a sale today that I sold on eBay. It got me thinking about Goodwill. A video I saw from a Goodwill from a few weeks ago. I'm gonna go into my garage here, grab the items that I sold. But the video was, I think it was a cop going into a Goodwill asking the managers to, or if they could donate a pair of shoes to a homeless person. And they refused, and the cop ended up having to buy the shoes.
Honestly, I don't know that we're allowed to tell you the truth, sir. I'll say one.
Okay, no worries. Do you have any that are for sale?
Yeah, we've got plenty for sale.
Okay.
All right.
Which got me thinking, like, the name Goodwill. Goodwill to men, like, the name it's deceiving to me. I mean, Goodwill, it just sounds, like goodwill. So why would it be so much to ask to donate a pair of shoes to a homeless person? As a reseller, I end up donating a lot of stuff myself, to whether it's churches or other local thrift stores. Personally, I don't have a Goodwill close to me, so I don't shop at them a lot. But my roots in reselling definitely stem from thrifting, because my mom was a thrifter through and through. She loved her clothes. She was a clothes hoarder. Some of my earliest memories are going to yard sales and the local Salvation Army with my mom and my grandma. And they'd buy clothes, I'd be looking for toys. I'm no stranger to thrifting, and especially growing up, most of the clothes I wore were thrifted by my mom. So I'm not above it by any means, is what I'm trying to say, because we were buying those clothes because we had to. We needed clothes. We couldn't afford high-end fancy brands, so we went to Salvation Army and yard sales. That's where we got most of our clothes when I was growing up. And that's how it is for a lot of people still. And this is what I sold. I bought these at a Goodwill in another town about 40 minutes away. So clearly I'm not about buying from there still. I mean, if I had one close to me, I may still shop at it. But this video still definitely had me thinking just about the name and their mission. Like, what is their mission? Their mission statement. I looked that up. Goodwill works to enhance the dignity and quality of life of individuals and families by strengthening communities, eliminating barriers to opportunity, and helping people in need reach their full potential through learning and power of work. So, right there in their mission statement, enhance the dignity. I think somebody looking for a pair of shoes is in need of some dignity and a pair of shoes. Obviously, as a reseller, I have a bit of a bias look on this, I guess, because obviously a lot of my fellow resellers shop at Goodwills, and power to them. If that's where you find your stuff, great. Like I said, I don't have one close to me, so I don't shop at them very often. If I come across one, I'll stop. But I do most of my sourcing from flea markets or other collectors in the community or yard sales and stuff like that. So I got some mom and pop thrift shops, and honestly, that's where I'd rather be spending my money anyway. And not to mention, it seems like Goodwill's become like a very competitive in the reselling world. Like, it feels like anytime you go into a Goodwill, you're competing with everybody in there looking for something.
Shut up! You rats with wings!
And their pricing is something I've been hearing people complaining about for years, about social media, talking about, oh, well, their prices are getting out of hand because they're seeing the money they're leaving on the table, I guess. But when it comes down to it, they get this stuff for free in the first place. And their CEO, one way or the other, is making hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's on paper, it's a nonprofit, but is it really? Because, I mean, they're paying their CEO hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not millions of dollars like people like to make it out to be, but anything north of $500,000, I'd say, is a fairly comfortable living. I don't know about you guys, but I think I could live okay on $500,000 a year. They say 81% of their profit goes into charities. And looking a little deeper into that, it seems like they also get a lot of government funding, which in turn gets donated. So I'm not sure where I'm not a mathematician, so I don't know where the numbers could get skewed there, but
What are you doing using your big school words? Just use normal people words and I'll understand what you're talking about.
I don't know. I just never, I don't know. Because like I said, my mom worked for the Salvation Army as well. That's another organization very similar. They got a CEO. I'm sure that makes I didn't do any research on them, but I'm sure that because my mom got paid. Some of the people I know still are under the impression that places like Goodwill and Salvation Army are all volunteers, which was never the case. Occasionally there'd be some volunteers at the Salvation Army. Sometimes they'd be there with disabilities. And that's another thing with Goodwill. I guess they've been catching some flack over paying people with disabilities pennies on the dollar, which that's not just a Goodwill thing. That's kind of an everywhere thing, to be honest with you, because when I worked with the developmentally disabled, I saw some of those guys' paychecks because they would go to work. We called it work, and I saw one of these guys' checks once, and it was literally 67 cents for I think it was 2 weeks of work. So that wasn't even worth the paper to print that check on. So that's kind of taking advantage of the disabled. I'm not sure exactly how Goodwill goes about hiring the disabled, but that was like a special program that I'm talking about where, yes, they called it work, they went there, but sometimes what they'd be doing is shredding paper or coloring, and they called it work. And they did get a check, which they were proud of. They were very proud of, given that, they did earn that 67 cents. But, how can a business get away with paying anybody such insulting wages? That's neither here nor there. Like, that's not a Goodwill thing. That's just I just don't think that's right in any way or form. Any organization shouldn't be taking advantage of people like that. But I don't know. I guess I'm just ranting at this point. So I got a few more sales to go through. I sold those cups from Goodwill. That's what got me on this whole tangent. Those cups from Goodwill, I paid like $1.99, and I sold them for $24.97, free shipping. So I'm not getting rich off of them, but so as a reseller, I say take advantage of them as long as we can and look for those mistakes, because they're obviously looking up certain things. I say as resellers, we should definitely keep taking advantage of their mistakes where and when we can, so we can benefit from it. Sure, are we adding to their pile of money? Yes, but it's so hard to source these days. I get it. I get why people go to that. It's an easy place to source, especially if you're looking for clothes, But as far as like donating my stuff, I mean, I've never donated to a Goodwill in the first place, but I definitely probably won't be now. Just knowing a little bit more about what I know about them now, You know, like I said, I'll still shop there when I given the occasion or the opportunity. And if there's a buck to be made, I'll make it. Call me greedy or whatever you want, but like I said, it's so hard to source these days. Get what you can get where you can get it when you can get it. You know, whether it be through a multi-million-dollar organization or your local mom and pop thrift shop, preferably the mom and pop thrift shop. But if you want to donate, I would suggest going to those mom and pop thrift shops because they could use it much worse. Same thing with churches, charities, other charities, you know, donate to local charity auctions. You know, that's a great way to go. You know, I donate a lot of clothes. That's what we did with a lot of my mom's clothes when she passed away, because that's what she wanted. Mostly, I still got some of her clothes, though. But a lot of them we did donate. You know, just something to keep in mind, I guess, when you're looking to donate stuff. I don't know. But I got a few more sales to go through, so if you've made it this far and if you want to see that, stay tuned. We got some sales from yesterday I'm going to show you here, and a couple from today. So, yeah, here's a pretty good sale. A pretty cool one anyway. It's a World War II mustard wool shirt, U.S. uniform shirt. It's actually an original one, but it was used in Saving Private Ryan, the movie. Fun fact, they did use a lot of original surplus, because back in the 90s, it was still pretty easy to find, surprisingly. So they did use a lot of original surplus in the movie, and they sold off a lot of it. It's out there. I bought this at the Show of Shows in Kentucky when I was there. I think I paid around $25. It wasn't a lot. And I sold it for $110 plus shipping. The guy actually bought it last week, just paid for it. So, but that's finally paid for, so I'm gonna get that out today. And I'm guessing it, because it sold like the day after the D-Day anniversary, so I'm guessing somebody was watching Saving Private Ryan and found it. Because I know I watched that and The Longest Day and a little bit of Band of Brothers, but that's the way you can tell if they are Saving Private Ryan. Apparently, the US SPR stands for Universal Studios Saving Private Ryan. There's some back and forth on that in the collectors community as far as prop collecting. That's what you want to see. Some people say they weren't marked. Some people say they were, but all the ones I've seen sell online, especially recently, have been marked with that. And most collectors are looking for that stamp. So is it easy to fake? Probably. But there were so many of them at the same time, because they used hundreds of extras in Saving Private Ryan, if not thousands. So they had to outfit a lot of background soldiers. So, which, fun fact, they were actually from the Irish National Guard, if you didn't know that. They used actual soldiers for the D-Day scene. They filmed it in Ireland, so they used a lot of Irish National Guard soldiers to portray the soldiers in the background. I've always thought that was kind of a neat little factoid. And sold another lunchbox, getting down to the last few of these. So looks like I still got 3 after this. Well, this one just sold WWF. Pretty cool, from the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. I can't see a date. Yep, 1985. You got Hulk, Andre the Giant, Roddy Piper. Pretty sure this has a thermos. It had the thermos, but it was cracked, and that was in the auction pictures, because otherwise this thing was in great shape, unfortunately, but it had a crack, which is probably why it took a while to sell, because I couldn't find any good comps of ones in similar condition. But I saw them selling in worse condition without the thermos for around $40-50. So I think I started at like 75, sat for a couple months. Somebody sent me an offer of 50, I took it. So. This guy, nice, really cool vintage G.I. Joe 12-inch Venture Team. Something I picked up a couple weeks ago at a yard sale, which I did do a video of. So go back and check that out if you haven't seen that one yet. Bought some cool stuff. But he sold for $74 $4.97 plus shipping. So not a bad little sale. I paid roughly $30 for him, but he came with a uniform and a foot locker, which I pieced out. So I'm gonna make more money off of those eventually when they do sell. So but this gets me at least my money back, because I think I spent $60. I spent $60 at that yard sale. Between that, I bought like a Halloween blow mold and some other things, but he was definitely the best purchase of that sale. So that's a cool sale. And the next sale is right here. Vintage 1980s Hot Wheel cut card. So it's still in the package, but not really. But it's the Very Funny Vet. Yeah, it's a drag racer. Pretty cool Hot Wheel. Sold for $45 plus shipping. It was originally listed as $75, but somebody sent me an offer of $45. And if you've been watching my channel, you know, several weeks ago at a flea market, I bought over 100 of these Hot Wheels, mostly 80s. Some of them were like this, some of them were still in the, like, actual, still had the whole card. But over 100 Hot Wheels for $100. So basically less than $1 a piece. And I've made over $1,000, well over $1,000 at this point. Profit, including taking out my eBay shakedown fees. So, pure profit on this guy, and easy to ship. Love it. And another sale that just came through before I started editing the video and headed to the post office to ship the other packages I sold earlier. This sold not too long ago. It's 17th Airborne Division Association yearbook of sorts. Kind of like unit histories and stuff. Some neat stuff in there. 17th Airborne was obviously an airborne unit during World War II. Didn't see a lot of action. They jumped over the Rhine for Operation Varsity. I think that's their only combat jump, but they were shortly disbanded after World War II, and then I think they came back again briefly after World War II. But they don't exist anymore, so that's sad. But my uncle was attached to the 17th Airborne at some point during his time with the Army when he was in the 517th Parachute Regimental Combat Team. So I've always got a kick out of 17th Airborne stuff. And I battled with selling that for a while, but I paid 20 bucks for it, and it sold for 75 plus shipping, which isn't too bad. A military patch here out of my book. World War II era Airborne Command. It's kind of neat that both my last sales are World War II Airborne related. But that little patch sold for $35. Free shipping, or $34.97 free shipping. So nice little patch. Anytime you come across an airborne patch in the wild, as long as it's World War II, you guarantee yourself a little bit of money. Especially if you find just the tabs. Sometimes the tabs are worth more than the bottom part. The tab is the part that says airborne. Sometimes those are worth more than the actual bottom patch. Sometimes they'll come separately, sometimes they don't. But a little bit of advice for you there. See airborne? Grab it. So there we have it. Those were the few sales I threw into this video. Just because those were the sales I had today, and I felt like making a video. So a couple cool ones. Nothing too major, but if you made it this far, you made it through my Goodwill babbling ramble rant thing, I appreciate you staying tuned to watch the sales. And you know, if you like these kind of videos, like flipping videos, talking about reselling, you know, that's mostly what I do. I do some picking videos occasionally. I'll throw them up on the channel when I do them. If you like that kind of content, please click that subscribe button if you are not already, and please click that like button. It does me a big help too. And hit the bell notification if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. So thanks a lot, guys. I'll catch you next time.